Good morning, everybody. I'm Mich Carpenter, and I'm with our beautiful Sue Tobin again. We've been guided by the Council of Eight and the Ascended Masters to come together and have messages for humanity. And Sue's just shared the most incredible story, which she'll feel called to share again if she wants to. But it just touches one's heart about what true unconditional love is. And this is what we decided to share. Is we know that there's a lot of craziness out there in the world. We know that there's sufferings, and we decided to ask the Council of Eight today many different questions, and I'll let Sue be the leader of that. But welcome back, Sue, and I always just love our time together. And may we bring a space of, oh, I want to cry, a space of grace to humans out there that are perhaps wanting more of grace and feeling more of what true connection to Source is and what true love is. How do you feel about sharing a little bit about what you've just shared with me? And I think that's why I'm still teary. And it's full moon. Um, I mean, of course, I'm going to be expressing tears around full moon. I was told last week that I'm governed by the moon, and but you just shared the most deeply beautiful story of who you are and how you just show up for humans. So over to you, Sue.
Breathe, breathe.
Oh my gosh, I don't even have tissues. Breathe. Yeah, breathe. Who knew that was going to come up? um,
All,
but it is a deeply impactful story.
all about love
Yeah, yeah.
and what does that mean to us. To me, there's two types of love. There's love when we fall in love. We love our parents, love our children, love our pets. Then we find it very hard to let go. How do we let go of these attachments of love and respect? I'm saying this with respect, that it's a part of ignorance of not knowing what truly is love. And it's great to be in love. You might find it will be for 3 months, 4 months, you might get married, will last for a couple of years. And then as we change, both of us, whoever your partner is, as we change, we kind of separate, and we carry on together, but we're going different paths. So then what can happen then is a divorce can happen, whether it takes 2 years, 5 years, 20 years, or not. Or you could stay together and still ride this path together, even though you are on different paths, because we're forever changing.
Yeah.
And therefore we have to keep adjusting to each other.
Yes, I love what you're sharing because that's exactly what it's I know you use the term dancing the dance, but that's exactly what had happened with Brent and I. When we went into an old story and our defense mechanisms came up this morning. So I knew before coming here, I was saying to you, I needed to go outside and just feel the air, feel the freshness of the air, and just regroup, I would call it. But it's exactly that, because we evolve all the time, and it's how we accept each other or don't accept each other in relationships.
Yes, that's right. And we come with different conditionings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a difficult journey. Um,
Yeah.
for us to even accept that and saying, oh yes, we'll go through this, but when the conditionings come in and you are different to your partner in the slightest way, it starts to build up. because another conditioning will come from another side, your side, the partner's side. And so the love is temporary.
Mm.
So it's learning to know and recognize what true love is. It's not temporary. That is the difference. But it is very, very deep within you. And arises with that is compassion. So the story is about, I think it's probably halfway through the book. Um, I'm in robes, I'm a nun in the jungle. I'm there for a year. I didn't intend doing this at all. I was supposed to come to Thailand for a year, take a year out from the NHS, and work with a team in a forest with terminally ill patients. But because of a political problem when I arrived, they couldn't do this. So I waited for about 3 weeks while the company found me another position. And this one came up, the only one. They wanted a person to live in the jungle with AIDS people, AIDS patients. They were all terminal. And I go, okay, that's fine. It's 8 miles inside. Okay. You'll be given water and food and accommodation. Oh, good. However, the patients will not be on medication. They wouldn't be allowed the medication. They're very poor, and hence why they were put in the jungle. So before I even went, they'd been looking after each other, children as well. I started with 27 patients. And as time went on, after about 3 months, a spirit connected with me. Now, there's quite a lot of trauma in the jungle, you can imagine. These people were street people. So they were ex-prostitutes, thieves, drug addicts, murderers. So they were tough. And yes, I did have an initiation. I seem to have passed that. But when Spirit Guide came to me, a beautiful soul, and I was totally shocked by it, thinking, well, you know, it's pretty warm in the jungle and it can affect your mind. And as I'm having this telepathic communication, I was asked to leave the jungle and become a nun because my work now was to encourage other monks and nuns to work with the dying. I'm thinking, I'm in a jungle, 8 miles inside. Where am I going to do this? How
Yes.
am I going to do this? And then my ego rose up because I always thought of I was a Buddhist and I'd love to have been a Tibetan nun, but it wasn't to be. However much I was going for it, then it was stopped. So in Thailand, I would have to be a Thai nun. So my ego rose up and said, but this isn't Tibetan nun. Is this what I want, what I need? And why is this person, who is this person telling me to be a nun? We have a lot of problems in the jungle. We don't have food sometimes. We don't have sheets or blankets. We had one blanket between 27 people and one pillow that was 15 years old and never been washed.
Wow.
And so I'm being asked now to ordain and then come back into the jungle. But it didn't take long for me to realize as I walked off in a huff.
You in a huff? Are you kidding me? I can't
Seriously.
imagine that.
It was. It was just kind of, I was confused. I didn't know, did I really hear that?
Yeah.
Was that up? And I've heard of that name. When the spirit told me, I said, well, who are you? And I heard of it, and I thought, well, I don't know much about you, but yeah, I do know of you. Um,
Would you like to share who it was, or is that sacred information to you?
it's not sacred, but it's just like many people are having these connections now with all sorts of spirit guides.
Yeah,
But he did say it was Babaji.
beautiful.
And I said, okay. But I was kind of thinking, but I'm not going to be a Tibetan. And then I thought, well, this is really selfish. The number one is you're here to help people dying. And we
Mm,
had no medications. So sometimes it was very difficult because of the pain level these people went through. And there was no medication to help them. Actually, we had one box of paracetamol for the year. But it doesn't help people when they're dying, especially when they've got AIDS and they've got TB. It's a terrible death sometimes. So that's what I did. I notified the caretaker. He used to come a couple of hours in the daytime and then go back and forth, but mostly to pick up any bodies that had died.
mm.
And so I said, this is what I need to do. And he found that a bit confusing, but that's what I did. I went up to Thailand. I went to the King's Monastery. I'd been there before and met Longpo, the abbot. And he'd suggested then, maybe you come back as a nun. You want to stay here and be a nun. And I'm thinking, that's why Babaji has asked me to go back. I'm to go back to Waterroom. And Longpo trained me there. So I went back down into the jungle. Well, we had to ask the king's permission for this because a nun is not allowed to go out in the streets on her own. She's not allowed to travel back and forth to jungles, and she's not allowed to be in a jungle. So it's just like, oh, these are
Wow.
big questions.
But you know what, Sue? You know what I love about your sharing this is that it's like so much of the change, because the way we've been conditioned, our belief systems, you know,
Mm.
listen, if I listen to your words, it's like you weren't allowed, this wasn't the normal traditional way of doing things.
It
And
wasn't.
yes, but that's what I love. Is it, I mean, we're going back how many years now? How many years ago was
Yeah,
this?
about 18.
Okay.
18.
So look at the changes you were already bringing, not only with the people that you've, spent time with, helped, but also just the changes of what was allowed. And I mean, that's how far back and I think often it's so we forget to look back at and going, well, what changes have we brought to ourselves, which brings us back to the relationship with, and being in a relationship and how we often evolve. But we get
Yeah.
so stuck on those conditions and those belief systems around, and yet what I'm hearing is everything is possible.
Yes. And it's
Everything.
fear. It's walking into your fear again. This isn't normal. Am I doing the right thing? Um, but nobody would look after AIDS patients. The hospitals
Wow.
really found it difficult. Monks and nuns really found it difficult. I spoke to three abbots, and they said, we're fine. We will sit with the dying, and when they're dead, we sit with them for 40 days. And it's pretty hard that because you're in extreme heat with a body that has died. And when I explained what I wanted to do, Longpo in Waterloo, this is the King's Monastery, said, okay, so I'm going to ask the king first these permissions. And the king agreed, which is really unusual. I
Wow.
was like, as long as I had an escort to take me down to the jungle to make sure I slept on the floor or on a low bed, one meal a day, kept to my vows. And then the carer disappeared. She actually said, I'm not staying here with you. It's
Wow.
just, it was just too scary. I mean, jungles aren't the easiest. Um, so that was fine. So, I'm in the jungle and we go through some terrible experiences sometimes. And of course, there's children there as well as are dying. But this one lady came in, well, she was brought in by the medics, and they have to have a van or something because there's a main unmade road going through the jungle, so people can't just drive in. So they have to have a good vehicle. So they bring this lady in, and she's the thinnest person I think I've ever seen in my life. She has full-blown AIDS. She had beautiful eyes. She's probably about 5'3". Um, just so skinny. You could see every rib. You could see her backbone. Her face was totally just cheekbones. You could see. It was just like unbelievable. And I thought, oh, she may not be with us very long. But she was violent, and tiny as she was, she couldn't walk, but she spat, bit, kicked if she could, do anything to defend herself, because this is how she's been under the condition of doing this, you know, protecting herself. So the nurses came in and held her an arm each, sorry, and two arms each and two legs. So there's two nurses, and they literally swung her like this in the air and threw her to land on the bed, which is a broken mattress anyway. We had rip mattresses. We didn't even have a decent mattress. And I looked at them, and my, they won't go near her because they were so frightened of being bitten. It takes one bite to have AIDS and a spit
Yes,
to have
yes,
AIDS.
yes.
And so they were terrified. And so they left. And this lady was like a wild animal. She was probably the worst patient I've ever seen. I mean, it was even the patients who were mobile were nervous of her. But the men were tantalizing her, pretending she's a tiger all the time and going near her and seeing if she could miss them. And they said, they laughed, we've got AIDS, it doesn't make any difference. So they thought it was a good game.
Mm.
Um, and I got them to stop. That all had to stop. So every day I sat with her carefully. If I went near her, she'd attack. So after about 2 weeks of changing the shift of being with her from morning to afternoon, so she didn't expect it. She was lying on the bed and her hand was on the bed, just lying
Sorry,
flat.
how did you clean her? How did she allow you to clean her?
I started, well, you've got to think we've got very basic needs. So we had old clothes from patients, um, and they were in a cupboard, and we recycle the clothes, and then we rip up the clothes to make a flannel.
Okay, wow.
And we had a bar of soap that the monks had given us because this place hospice was supported by a monastery 8 kilometers away. A lovely guy, lovely abbot, but he didn't speak a word of English and I didn't speak a word of Thai, so we couldn't talk very much. But they supplied, the public give the monks sometimes incense, soap, um, any little thing like that that might help them. It could be shampoo. So we had soap donated to us. And the only thing is, the animals in the jungle ate the soap. So it's a matter of trying to use it first before they did. You
Mm.
see these teeth marks in the soap. Oh God, it's like half of it's gone. And literally, what I did, I washed the cloth and put soap on it, and I had to throw it to her. And the patients were saying, Sabo, Sabo, wash. Ming, 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 Ming. And he said, you smell.
Oh,
And so she wouldn't, first of all, and then she did on the third day. She did start to wash herself. It was very positive. Now, I had brought in some towels. There's another story about the towels that get stolen, but I found one and I'd throw the towel to her.
mm.
So it would land on the side of the bed so she could pick it up. And that's how she washed for the first week.
Okay.
So I'm still sitting by the side of her, being very careful. I mean, she really was bad. You know, any movement, and she's like this, and she'd go for you.
Mm.
Um, and the patients kept telling me, "You're going to die. You're going to get AIDS." And I said, "Well, maybe." Um, but I just put my hand on the bed one day. It was probably about going into 2 weeks now. Not near her, just my hand on the bed. And she didn't react. She just looked cross. And then eventually, after about another couple of days, when her hand is lying on the bed, I just moved mine close to hers. Not touching, just close. And the next movement then, in a couple of days, you touch. And the next move then is to go like that. And just sit there and smile at her and tell her how beautiful she is. She had beautiful eyes. And I don't think she was ever told how beautiful she was. And I don't think she ever had love. So she allowed this most of the time for the rest of the week. But then the patients had stirred her up the night before when I went in, and she wouldn't let me near her again. So we started the journey again. So going into the third week now, she's deteriorating fast. And the patients somewhere found this like cake net that we put over our cakes, so the miniature ones. So there was a huge one hidden. I thought, that's wonderful, because when people are dying and they're losing blood, 100 to 200 flies will suddenly come from nowhere and
Yeah.
landing. So this was protecting her. So we put it over the bed. It was huge. It covered the whole bed. And she had some protection. But then and we're getting to the stage now that she would let me wash her. This is on the third week. Gently and carefully and very mindfully, because she'll turn again for anything that disturbs her.
Yeah.
If other patients came near, anything that would alert her. And the patients had been a little cruel to her sometimes, so she was mega, mega on alert. Um, so I went in the next morning, and I knew by the smell she was going. And I knew by the flies just covering all of her tent, I used to call it. So I brought a stool up and sat by the bed and put my hand on the bed just to know, look, it's Murchie, it's the nun. And she was still on alert, but she was dying, so she was getting weaker. And then when I'm sitting with her, this is the part I forgot to tell you, is that I then managed to get my backside onto the bed, sitting sideways, facing her. And as I did that, she turned her head around to me quickly. And I went, it's okay. It's okay. It's Murchie, the nun. And she started turning round to me, getting herself into the center of the bed. And I thought, is she doing it at the last lash before she goes?
Yeah.
Because you really have to be on alert. And and she stared at me, and I looked at her, and I had always said to her every day, "You're a beautiful person. So why are you pooing? You're beautiful." And so when I'm looking at her, she turned towards me. She's very weak. She's about to die. And her lip starts to quiver and quiver. And I'm watching her. And a couple of tears come down on her cheek because she knows she's dying. And these people have not had love. They've not had anyone to look after them. And somehow she managed to have the effort, the strength to put her prayer hands together and then said, "Beautiful now, Sawai Murchi, Kopkunka,
Mm.
I thank you." And then more tears came down.
Ah.
And so as she held her prayer hands up, because she's now fading, I put my prayer hands over hers to accompany her as she's dying. More tears come from her face and down her face, sorry. And her lip, she couldn't help, it was just quivering all the time. And I was going, it's okay. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And as she drifts off, I stayed with her. I stayed with my hands, embracing her hands, until she actually had passed through. Now, what happened in those last couple of moments is like a soul to soul connection of love could be felt. And this comes from an extremely deep place. It just rises up, fills your body, and you can hand it out to other people as they're dying, or because they tend to open up a bit more then as they know they're going. This is it.
Wow.
So there's no more defense. So
I
you
love
can
those words. Yeah.
accompany,
Yeah.
yeah, you can
Wow.
accompany them as they're dying. So she passed away very gently, not in pain. She had hemorrhaged terribly the day before and probably continued to hemorrhage when I actually washed her. She wasn't in a good state.
Mm.
Um, so she had, she was very weak, but she went in peace. And not only that, she didn't die alone.
Mm. Mm.
She went with love.
Mm.
So what I want to explain, there are two different types of love. There's love and compassion, and there's love,
Mm.
which is love that we know of as having partners,
Mm.
loving our dogs. But love and compassion is really deep.
Mm.
But when it rises, the other soul will recognize it.
Mm.
It might have been her first time, it may not have been that she had a recognition, but I know that she hadn't been loved.
Mm.
She was so scared of life.
Mm.
She could have been a prostitute, who knows? She was beautiful.
Mm.
So it's a heart-to-heart connection,
Mm.
and it's a warmth of love
Mm.
to help them carry them through.
Mm.
So that was my first experience
Mm.
of knowing what love and compassion is.
Mm.
And I did what Baba Shi wanted. He wanted me to encourage monks and nuns to work with the dying. And that's going further on in the book and how I did that.
Mm.
But it was very profound experience. And that's what it is. It's an experience. There's no attachment. There's nothing there but love. So what I would like to ask the Masters Council Bait, how can we all experience this?
Okay, so I'll bring them through, but before I do, thank you for sharing that. Every time you share that with me, I mean, I've read it. This is probably now the third or fourth time you shared it, and it just gets me right in my heart. So thank you for sharing this beautiful energy, and how, I want to say, how lucky is she to have had you there with her in her last few weeks to teach
Well,
her to be safe in her body.
sorry,
Yes,
it works two ways.
yes,
I had the
absolutely.
experience and let it happen, and she allowed me, which
Yes,
was wonderful of her to do that because
yes,
for being, I can't tell you how scared this lady was.
yeah, sure.
And she had beautiful eyes. She was a beautiful person.
Mm.
Everybody's a beautiful person,
Mm.
but, and she allowed me to help her in the end. So, it's her bravery. It actually, she was stepping into her fear. She's the one we should be celebrating and and praising.
Yeah. And I just for those of you who are questioning, like, where can you get Sue's book? It's been rewritten, and I won't disclose how many times Sue has rewritten this book. It was out there, and there's been a bit of a I don't know what's the right words, but Sue's
Conversation?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sue's taken it off Amazon, and currently we are putting it out there to the universe and to everybody who perhaps is watching this, that we can find someone that can publish it beautifully from the most authentic place, because it really holds true resonance of so much of what Sue has done in her life. But it's this is one story, guys, and there's many moments where they, like, my mouth drops, where I'm like, wow, wow, complete resilience. Sue has taught me resilience. Sue has taught me so much in her words and her writings. So it really, it's going to be relaunched in the most profound way. Woo-hoo, bring it. Bring it on. But let me bring them through, Sue, and then you ask what you're going to ask. I'm just going to have a sip of water. And thank you for sharing her beautiful testimony of who she is, not who she was.
Yeah.
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 We are so divinely orchestrating this time together, in the wisdom, in the sharings, in the knowings, in the connections of all that is. We say to you today, beloved Sue, we are here, and may we say in passing. And when humans are in passing, when spirit is in passing, it is a passing of a vibration. It is a reconnection on a level of knowing. And we say to you today that we are very, 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 very grateful, yet in truth, we know that you know what is to be shared, and we share with you in the equilibrium of this time, once again, in passing of the change. Think of it like this. Many humans are saying, well, why is this happening? And why is that happening? And why is this happening? And we say, once again, that think of it as being on a tight road in the mountains, and you are well aware that there is a car that is coming this way and there's a car that is coming this way. And how is it that the cars are able to interchange and pass one another? Well, it is sometimes, at times, almost impossible. Yet there is an in passing that happens, as the vehicles that are passing on this mountain know exactly where to go, how to reverse, how to move forward, and how to pass one another. Where there is perhaps even a moment of an hair follicle or a hair that is not able to be put in between these two cars, yet it happens. Drivers have skills on these mountains. You are teaching humans. We are here to teach humans that you are all skilled, that you all hold compassion. Your souls only know compassion. Your souls only know love. There is nothing in between, nothing above, nothing below, nothing this way, nothing that way. It is only. And we'll ask you to feel into these words the vibration of it is only. Your souls only know love. So we are grateful for your sharings today. We are grateful for how you share in the wisdom of what has been told, what has been told, what has been told. And what has been told may or may not, or may be truthful to you or to this one. So as this one shared with you today, and we are so grateful for her sharings, that there was a on-off button between herself and her husband. Think of it as, and you humans call it a trigger. The trigger was pushed on, and then it was pushed off. Humans are able to bypass their cellular systems very quickly. What do we mean by this? Are you on or are you off? When you are off, there is peace. When you are on, there is the moments of the ego, there is the moments of the head, there is the moments of, think of it as Morse code, and the Morse code is not making sense to many. So when humans are looking at a version of themselves, they are saying, this is not me, and yet we are saying, yes, it is. As you are all interconnected, you are all looking at versions of yourselves, are you not, beloved Sue?
That's right.
And you continuously, and we show our gratitude for you, you are continuously saying, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Please go ahead. You have questions for us.
Thank you, Councillor Bate, Ascended Masters. Love. So in this world, I feel we have two types of love. Love with an attachment, a need, a want, whether it's from another person, from an animal, an event, anything to keep us happy. But love is different. Love is belonging.
Correct.
But it's a belonging, this love, with an attachment. And it's difficult. It's difficult for everyone to understand what is happening with this type of love. Why does it fall apart? We go in and out of love, out and in, maybe several times, maybe many times. But love and compassion is completely different. It's looking at everyone as equal. We are all souls. We are all connected. But to allow this compassion and love to raise up, how I put it, and to give out to others, it's very difficult for people to understand and very difficult to share or teach or learn. So, Councillor Bates, can you help us here?
We most certainly can. And as you are sharing, we are saying to this one that it is a bypass and it is a learning. The love that you have all been taught and are relearning in this very moment of time, in this moment of truth, in this elevated space of this way of being, as it is a way of being, is it not?
Yes.
You learned through patience, and not only the patience that you were being in service to, you learned through your own patience of your own knowing, of your own understanding. And you had come in divinely blessed with learning patience through your mom and learning patience from your dad. Do you hear the difference?
Mm-hmm.
So it is exactly that. Hence, we were talking about how many times, when one is gifted something, and you humans live in a physical, tangible world, and we know that this is true in the body of work of who you all are. So we say to you that when one has been taught that I have a wound, and notice how we say this, that I have a wound, you have a wound, you have a wound, you have a wound, and you come in as the soul that you are. And this beloved soul that you are referencing, she was wounded her whole entire life, beaten, hurt, not seen. Hence she gave up on herself as she did not have the support, yet you gifted her the support that she so desired and longed for her whole entire physical form. You saw her not only in her physicality, as it wasn't about the physicality, it was about the knowing, the connection, the knowing, the connection. When humans see each other, not only in the gifts of what they are receiving from one another, as this is where the dysfunction happens. You do this, I will gift you this. You do that, I will gift you that. And notice how we are using her hands right now. It is a different vibration. It is a different frequency. It isn't in the space of grace. And it is a learning, and you are correct in the way that you are saying it. It can be difficult for so many humans. Yet when humans are learning in themselves, that they are not desiring, that they are not seeking, that they are not desiring, that they are not seeking for much. And we know that everyone has attachments. It is part of your human way. Not wrong, not right, not black, not white. It is part of your human walk. And when humans realize that I will not gift you, notice how we say this, please. I will not gift you if you don't have to gift me. There's so much in those words, is there not, beloved Sue?
That's right. Yeah,
I
there's
will not. I will not. Well, I am. The I will not does not live in the I am. It only exists if you choose to make it exist. So the making it exist is humans want back from each other, a feedback all the time. How many times have you noticed that humans are truly not being heard? As there is so much hurt, so this is where the difficulties arise for so many humans. And it is important, may we say, that in the body of work, arising, letting go of the emotions that no longer serve, as they do not serve you when you are in a space of grace. Think of Jesus in the Last Supper. Many people, many different writings have many different thought forms, many different beliefs on what the Last Supper was about. And it is interesting as we define what is the Last Supper. Well, does it mean that it is the last time that you are about to eat? Does it mean that it is the last time that you are sitting together in the connection? This is the importance, as we see it, of learning that you are always, in all ways, connected. Humans talk the talk. Yet may we say, and this is no judgment on our part, it is talking the talk. Yet when humans are truly listening to who they are in their space of knowing, in the space of I am, in the space of grace, one sees humans not only in their version of their stories, they see love, they know love, they feel divinely love. Divinely love is as if it is the Last Supper. Yet humans say to oneself, is this the last time? I don't know. I'm going through loss. Perhaps this isn't right. I don't think. maybe I do, maybe that isn't well. And this is where they get lost in time and lost in the wound of who they once were. Are we making sense?
Mhm.
It is the wounds of, and it is by no default that this beloved Michelle had said to you today, wow. Well, when you look back into what you have created, what you and your soul has seen in a space of love as these divinely wonderful, uplifted monks that have seen you in your love, hence they have gifted you. And it was a difficult time for you, and many, may we say, have no understanding of how interpreted your version of your book is. This may not make sense to many, yet we know that this makes sense to you, beloved Sue. Many will
Yeah.
take their own interpretations of what you have shared or what you are writing about, may we say. So, no, this is not about you right now. This is not about your book. This is about the interpretation of a book, as there is an interpretation of what the Last Supper truly is about. Yet Jesus gave of himself, he gave of his life. You gave life back to this woman in order for her to pass. You gave her dignity. Not back, you gave her dignity. Hence, she was able to see you, and you saw her for who she truly is. This, may we say, is the true rarity that many humans have forgotten about. Yet many humans are sacrificing themselves. And it is interesting as we see this happening on your earthly planes. Only when there is death, beloved Sue, do humans then wake up or not. We hope this makes sense.
Thank you so much. That's a wonderful way of putting it. Thank you.
We thank you. In death, there is love.
In love, there's death, and death in love. Yes,
Correct.
it's it's in the awareness. It's in consciousness. It's who we are.
Correct. It
So
is who we are. It is in the connection of all. It is in the connection of interconnectedness. It is in the connection of the I am. It is in the connection of source. Yet humans will say, well, I channel this, and this is who I speak to, and this is who I reference, and this is the testament to what is being shared. And we say, well, it does not matter. Frequency connects to frequency, vibration connects to vibration, and all is aligning in divine. Please go ahead.
so what drives us here is the ego. And I see ego as a double-sided coin. There are two types of ego. Ego that could control us, um, release us from fear, um, giving us what we perhaps think we need or want. But the other side of ego is useful. The other side of ego will help us plan, will help us decide fight and flight when we're in fear. So it's not all bad. It's both sides of the coin, the same.
Correct. And it
So
is the same. It is dependent on, and we are interrupting you right now as we feel this is important to disclose,
yeah,
that many humans are even looking at themselves that they do not have ego. And we say, well, that is not truthfully speaking to yourself, as it is, and you have referenced it, it is important at times. It is a system, a reptilian system that is embedded in the brain to help you humans. Yet many stay in that way, as this is part of their learnings, this is part of their perhaps non-understandings, yet understandings of where they are. And look how we're showing with our hands right now that it is out of where you are in the I am. And not good, not bad, yet many humans reference it as, well, you have. And we say, well, perhaps. What happens if someone comes into the vibration of the human that is out of source, out of alignment, at the time of a passing over, at the time of a death, at the time of a soul's connection, the soul's interconnection, and then someone brings change. So in your story, you brought change. You brought connection. You brought an exchange of energy, which was felt deeply in compassion, which was felt deeply in love. You hearing the difference?
Yes, thank you.
We thank you.
So it's awareness, isn't it? It's
Aha.
if we can tune into the awareness, like in meditation, or there are other forms of ways of doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So in meditation, we can learn to be the observer, watch the thoughts, be in the gap. The gap is where the awareness is.
Aha. And at times it is important to have a gap. At times it is important in a relationship, and a relationship that is perhaps what you humans would term dysfunctional at times, that at times when, think of it as this, free divers, when they go down, they are taught over time to hold their breath. They are not able to free dive and go down in this vibration. They are able to feel the water, connect truly to their soul, connect truly to just letting go and connecting to their body. So when there is a gap, at times it is important to have the gap. Think of it as being in a relationship, and at times we know that humans are not understanding of where the other human is coming from. Notice the words coming from. You speak of conditions. Well, you have been conditioned, and we have shared this before. There are many different belief systems, and yet there are many different hierarchies. We are looking at humans and saying, well, it is time for the hierarchies to dissolve. And you bring back humans as a reminder that there is always connection happening. No one is above anybody else. Yet this is how humans have been taught. So in relationships, when there is a gap, it helps humans to come back into, what is it that I truly desire? What is it that I truly, truly, truly am seeing for myself? Yet there is loss in those gaps, is there not, beloved Sue?
There is. And sometimes people don't know where they are or who they are.
Babies come into this world with a true sense, a true knowing of who they are.
Mm.
And this is where the free thought forms, as they are free, are they not? You
Yes,
humans
that's
do
very
not have to.
free.
We are cracking ourselves up right now as we just realized that thoughts are free. Oh, you humans didn't think about that. Maybe you did.
I'm ungrateful we are.
Correct. Your breath is free. Your thoughts are free. So, how are you recreating? How are you creating what is free to you? The trees, the birds, the bees, the animals in the ocean, they give back in so many numerous ways. They do not ask for much, they ask for freedom. They ask to be set free. Many of the animals that have been entangled, many of the animals that have been held prisoner for humans to observe. Yes, and there are those that are teaching others, yet it is not what they wish for. Yet it is about survival. You are all here to learn survival, not survival where you are in your ego, not survival where you are continuously grasping at, are you in love with me? Are you in love with me? Are you in love with me? Perhaps that takes you into a desperation vibration. It is survival in a very different space of grace. It is survival in acceptance of what is showing up, for the learning to be received, to be held, and to be reformulated and created. And this is where humans bow to one another. Think of it as being on stage, and there's been a wonderful act that you have all witnessed, or a wonderful orchestra, or a wonderful play that has been gifted to you all. And then the actors take a bow. And then you applaud once again, and the actors take another bow, and you applaud once again. And this is who we are. We share with you, and we applaud you all for being the change. We applaud you all for the I am, the I am, the I am is where true love is. You may call it God, source, divine, goddesses, gods. It is all in the space of grace, where the glory of I am truly, truly, truly knows love. We thank you for this divine blessing of love, connection. Are we complete for today, beloved Sue?
Yes, that's good. Thank you. Thank you
We
very
thank you.
much.
We are
And
graceful and grateful for your words of truth, clarity, and expression of your stories. We love you all. We thank you all. Namaste, beloved.
namaste.
Wow, that felt really, really special.
They are.
Wow.
And so are the viewers too, because the viewers are here to listen, to observe, maybe
For
learn,
sure.
perhaps, and see the view clearly.
That is such a beautiful way of putting it. See the view clearly. Because it's like looking at your picture behind you. I mean, it's a rugged mountain, and to get up it takes hard work. It takes, breath work. It takes knowing. It takes planning. It takes, that's the human experience, isn't it? But then when you're climbing up there, you have to be, even with all the planning, you have to be so present, I would assume. I mean, you've been up a few mountains, I think, from your journey. And it's like being in the acceptance of Brent and I this morning were discussing hyperbaric oxygen chamber, and I've been into one that like was a collapsible one, and I had a complete panic attack. My claustrophobia kicked in, and
Mm.
uh, and it can be quite dangerous. So you've got to sit to wait for it to decompress, and you've got to breathe. It's like you're in a plane, and so I was looking at one this morning that's a solid one, and I just kept saying to myself, you can do this, Michelle. You can do this. Like, just go in. You can breathe. It's like being in an aeroplane. So I tell myself, but I think sometimes we lie to ourselves in the moment. And I'm looking at it on the internet and I'm going, I can do this. It's solid. It's fine. I can do it. And we can. So my point being about the mountain, coming back to that, is that it's being present in every moment. It's the knowing of, okay, I can do this. I mean, you watch a child climb a tree, it's us as parents who are like, no, 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 and they're like, I've got this, I'm fine. And they actually are most of the times. It's very rare that a child will fall out the tree. Am I making any sense? I'm clearly not. I feel
Yeah, it's
I'm,
also
I'm doing a
it's
typical Michelle. 15 stories, huh? What do you make? What's your point? Bring me back, Sue.
right. Just breathe, slow breathing. You'll be back. Yeah, keep that low breathing.
Sorry, I'm laughing in my head because this is what happens so often when I'm ungrounded. I can hear myself tweeting like a bird. Like, where am I going?
Well, you made a valid point, and it's a lot to do with trust as
Mm,
well as
mm,
acceptance.
mm,
And that's what people find very difficult. Acceptance, yes, we can accept all these things, but do you really accept?
mm.
And do you trust? You know, trust is a big word to learn.
Well, it's trusting in our souls knowing. That's what I'm finding at this moment in my life, is that up until this point has happened for me. And sometimes it is uncomfortable, and sometimes it is allowing myself to grieve, or allowing us to grieve. And it's letting go of the thoughts of what I thought life was meant to be. And we can create, I believe that we can create and recreate, is what is coming to me right now. And then we recreate again. But it's letting go of what am I trying to say? It's letting go of the fundamental conditions of what I was taught, and what trust was meant, like what I thought trust was meant to be.
Mhm.
But it's trusting ourselves, isn't it?
It is, and it's stepping into the fear.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
That's what
true.
holds back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that takes me to the oxygen chamber. It's
So I
I can
ask,
do this. I can do this.
why
Pardon?
is there need, why is there a need to do this?
So my body's just going through a lot of inflammation at the moment, and I know that it's good for the system. At the same time, equally, what's good for my system, I'm realizing, like, I like to try different things to see what, and I like a quick fix as well. I think a lot of people do. Yet, yesterday I said to my daughter Gabs and her partner Tyrell, I was like, come on, let's take off our shoes and let's go walking in the street and walking on the grass. And it's interesting because as a child, it's something that she loved. She hardly ever wore shoes. And then, that was in South Africa, and we came to New Zealand. And because we came to a colder climate, it's something that we, most times, we do. We wear colder shoes, not when we're on the beach, obviously, but it was like, let's do this. And we all shifted our moment of how we were feeling, you know. And it was great. We're giving ourselves a little reflexology on the stones, and but it was just beautiful. So when you say the need, it's like sometimes I just want a quick fix. And I know the oxygen chamber just makes me feel light and buzzy and airy. And I know there's science to it too, but also pushing myself through the fear. That would be my need. Can I do this? I want to I want to smash those fears that I know with being claustrophobic. Um, and and it's just kind of like, okay, the previous time wasn't the most ideal time. So can I go back and reteach myself that I can do this?
That's very brave.
Thank you. Or stupid.
Maybe.
Walk on the
All
grass,
okay.
Michelle. Yeah.
All okay.
I'm going to pay you money to get through my fears.
Maybe a long-term fix might be good in the end.
Yeah. Well, isn't that life though?
Hmm.
Yeah. That for me brings me back to trusting.
Yeah.
Trusting in our knowing, trusting in how we are divinely always being guided. I love what you shared in your story, um, about your connection with, Babaji, and that is what's so wholesome, is that we are led by different spirit teams, different guides that come through to us. Um, Last night I had a dream about my whole dad's family coming together, and most of them are passed over, my uncles, my aunts, and we were all dancing. It was great, and I was like dancing with them, and I couldn't wait to like pick up the phone and share it with my dad, because I knew they were dancing in spirit. This is what we did well together as a family. And I was like, good for you guys, you're dancing. And that's part of what I woke up with that this morning. I was like smiling. Thank you for being here with me, because they're connecting with us. They're connecting with me.
They have freedom.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what we're all looking for.
yeah.
But if we stop looking, we might find it.
Wow, that's special. I think the place of stillness is where to end. I still can't help myself, eh? But I love that. That's the pause. Hey?
It's the pause.
It's the pause.
It's the pause.
Well, thank you
Yes,
for
thank you.
everybody, and I appreciate you for even being, not only even, that's not the right wording, but I appreciate you for acknowledging everybody that is with us on this journey.
Yeah,
I've often said that I do this. I show up putting stuff out there, and it's going to resonate or not resonate. And I just appreciate everybody for being here, including yourself, Sue, because time is so precious. And being here and sharing your wisdom for me, I said to you, isn't it funny how when I was in Egypt and the council had said that you were going to be with, like we again, it's how we interpret the information. And yet I think I spoke about you almost every single day in Egypt. I'm like, of course Sue's here. She's not here physically, but she's with us in spirit. You got to listen to, you got to read Sue's book. And I was like, oh, of course, they said she was going to be here with me in Egypt. So thank you.
Michelle, I don't know if we have the time. Would you like to lead a meditation, a small meditation, healing, sending healing to those people um, in Jamaica,
Mm.
in the UK, where a number of people have been stabbed on a train? And to anybody out there that are going through sufferings.
I appreciate you offering that. I actually didn't know until Sue had mentioned it this morning, what was going on in the world. And I would love to, absolutely love to. So I invite you all to, if you'd like, to just get comfortable, close your eyes, and let's just take a few moments. Just notice your breath. Just focus on below your belly button, just gently focusing on your breath. May we send love to everyone that has been a part of this time in both Jamaica and the UK. For those that have been hurt, for those that have lost loved ones, the families and extended families. May their souls return peacefully or leave peacefully. May we send love to each human that is feeling the intensity of this sad time. And I'm going to take a few moments to go silent. And I'll ask you all to keep breathing in love, grace, compassion, kindness into yourself. And as you exhale, share that with someone that you feel would benefit from this beautiful space today. When you're ready, slowly expanding into your breath, taking a few big breaths into your lungs. You're welcome to move your shoulders, your fingers, your toes. You're welcome to rub your hands gently together. Just cup them gently over your eyes, pushing gently on your forehead. When you're ready, open your eyes. Taking a few big breaths and coming back. Coming back. Thank you, Sue.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you for the reminder.
Thank you for everyone that's watching.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
really hope this helps you.
Thank you to
Michelle.
everybody. You're welcome. And till we see you next week, please like and subscribe and comment, and perhaps come with questions if you'd like Sue to ask the council questions. This is a time for all of us to show up for one another. And I'm truly appreciative for all of you. And the remembering or the knowing is love is truly why we are here. So thank you to everybody. Love you all. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.